plague has assaulted the citizens of planet Earth. Unprecedented by any global phenomenon before it, this virus has ruthlessly torn its way into even the most remote corners of the globe. Chaos erupts worldwide. Like the great ships of the colonials, it has ridden on the backs of our advanced communication and transportation systems. Never forget the biennales. These potent environments nurture and assist in spreading this awful disease. No one is safe and there is no end in sight. Diverse reactions from different people are baffling experts as they try to develop a cure. From its beginning, this epidemic has elicited strange behaviors in those infected as they try to express themselves in ways they thought no one had thought of before. They refer to themselves ambiguously as artists. Are they trying to tell us something? Who knows? It could all be garbage. No, I mean it literally could be garbage. When we imagined the apocalypse, meteors, Mayan calendars, raptures, zombies, it all made perfect sense. But what's happening now? Who would have thought we'd be done in by this? Our efforts to communicate distorted, forced to resort to abstraction and global schizophrenia. How will the human race defend itself against this contemporary enemy sworn to divide us? How will we survive? What must we do? When will it end?
The question about the time period of contemporary art has been brought up more than once in this subject. It's unlike any other era of art we'll study in our history courses. Modernism, Baroque, we have estimates of tangible dates when those periods began and ended. I suppose hindsight is 20/20 in this case. Maybe we're so concerned with contemporary art because we've come to a consensus that contemporary is supposed to represent the now. It's arguable, of course. Plus we're also wondering about the future, and so we want to know what comes next. But in order to know that, we have to ask, when will the contemporary era finally end? We've become really critical of contemporary art, but maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it's a sign that things could change in the future. A lot of criticisms come from the artists themselves. They're communicating problems of contemporary art trends, and many are choosing a comical route to do so. So now, artists are seeking change through laughter. Humorous works are certainly more enjoyable to experience than, say, this. Or this. Who doesn't love comical aesthetics like out-of-place or context objects, hybrid objects, distortions, parodies, disguises? We get googly eyes for things of humor like we do for things of beauty. People might be more inclined to think about something that engages them and makes them laugh than something distant or confusing. Maybe the most significant characteristic of this new form of humor lies in its inner workings of heavy emotions and criticisms. These are the things we wouldn't necessarily or voluntarily recognize had we not laughed. Humorous works problematize laughter. They make us ask, why did I laugh at that in the first place? Eventually we'll begin to see more and more complexities within the work as we explore it. Humor is a window into the artist's most intrinsic beliefs, values, their ideologies. We look through these windows and laugh alongside the artist, unashamed by our scrutinizing laughter and unafraid of whoever or whatever it might offend. The humor within these works is often cynical, ironic, critical, dark, satirical, surreal, or just an expression of the artist's wit. Maybe the best thing to compare contemporary humor to would be clowns. Those semi-human creatures that nobody really enjoys. Clowns embody the idea of great despair beneath the thin veil of comical clothing and face paint. Like the clown, contemporary humor conceals deep meanings and hidden truths beneath a thin layer of laughter. Seemingly comical caricatures can briefly suppress criticisms and emotions of suffering, but just long enough to grab our attention. Suddenly, what lies beneath does not look so fun or pretty, but it's all we've got. In a way, the critical and sometimes offensive nature of contemporary humor is a pretty accurate representation of the fragmented world we live in. Its very existence means that people are different, and we're ruthlessly judgmental about it. We tease each other, we tease ourselves, and pretty much everything else because of it. What seems like a harmless parody conceals feelings of great sadness and longing. So, how could humor possibly turn everything around in contemporary art? By making fun of it, essentially. Contemporary works that inspire laughter are often making jokes at the expense of contemporary art itself, along with whatever else the artist feels like criticizing. Many contemporary artists and critics write off works that inspire laughter as childish or sophisticated. Sometimes it's not even considered art. There's a fear that this reputation will poison all of contemporary art, producing every work made from now on into one big joke.
Pomposity and the self-important always know at some level of their consciousness that their egotism is going to be punctured by humor. That's why they see it as a threat.
Perhaps one day this will happen, or maybe laughter-inducing works will gain more recognition in the contemporary art world. Until then, think of it as a contemporary form of penicillin. If it can humble every freaky photo and hair-covered room into a quick giggle, it could potentially clear a path into an era of brutally honest, funny art, where art represents what we truly feel about ourselves and everything around us. Besides, what easier way is there to recognize differences and faults than to laugh about them?